Hey, Armand here with your forecast for the week of January 8th, 2024. Before we go any further, let me give a big shout out as the year begins to two folks who you might want to check out. There's Adam Bernstein over on the Medium channel, and there's Natalie Delahaye. These are Adam's a psychic tarot reader and more, and Natalie's an astrologer, and they're just different perspectives on things that you might like. It's a fresh year. Getting fresh perspectives on things is good. Of course, my perspective is, but it's fun to see what other people have to say. It's fun to see. A lot of times we're on the same page. That really reinforces things. And then sometimes we're not on the same page. And that gives you the opportunity to think about, well, which seems to resonate more. I mean, you know what I'm saying. Okay. Let's start out with this week of January 8th. The basic message here is not yet. And I know you're saying to yourself, Armand, every week, the monthly forecast for December, all we hear is not yet, not yet, not yet. What are you doing? You're giving me the same forecast every week? Is it's going to be a canned forecast? And it's not a bad idea, Save a lot of time and effort. Just repeat the same forecast, change the date But no, that's not it. And actually, it only applies for part of this week, but it does apply for part of this week. So on Monday, we have Mercury now going direct, we have to admit, but Mercury is going to square Neptune. And this is an aspect that is like Mercury retrograde raised to a power. Now, a big part of the whole being on hold for the last 6 weeks or so has had to do with none other than Mercury being out of bounds, squaring Neptune, going retrograde, squaring Neptune, stationing very close to his square to Neptune, and now going forward and squaring Neptune. So we get the kind of mixture of Mercury and Neptune. Neptune makes things foggy, and Mercury, when retrograde, will create all the usual problems with communication and travel and technology and stuff like that. So, okay, so that's what we've been dealing with. And now on Monday, January 8th, we have the last square of Mercury to Neptune. Interesting thing. When he first squared Neptune back at the end of November, around November 27th, full moon. People got that full moon lunacy going on. Mercury's out of bounds, squaring Neptune. Forget it. Everything is just, people just shooting their mouths off. Who knows what's real? We just don't know. He's out of bounds to mid-December. He stops, and then he goes retrograde, and he squares Neptune again. When? Right around December 27th at the next full moon. Everybody's crazy. He stations on January 1st, and now he is going to go forward, and he's going to square Neptune one more time. This time, though, coming into the new moon. All right, it's a big story. What does that mean? It means that stuff that started to go wrong or went awry, or agreements that couldn't be made, or travel, communication, technology, auto snafus that started around the end of November may have heated up again towards the end of December. Could be one more little hiccup, but they're heading towards their resolution now. Okay, so some of the chaos and just generally speaking, some of the chaos and confusion that's been around since late November is finally just one quick moment away from clearing itself up. So I think that, we're really in a pretty good spot. There's a lot of other positive stuff. I mean, first of all, Mercury is direct after his retrograde. He's keeping himself in balance for a while, so that's good. Jupiter has gone direct. Jupiter went direct at the very end of 2023, the last day of 2023. That's a positive kind of motion. Mars, as of January 4th, last Thursday, has climbed into Capricorn, where he's very much about focused and directed energy. And that's a real positive. This is something that really, if you want an indication that the first month or so of 2024 is going to be good for getting stuff going. That's it right there. So Mars has climbed into Capricorn, and so focused energy, not the kind of juggling things, multitasking that he might have encouraged. I don't encourage it, but he might have encouraged when he was in Sagittarius. No, focus task, pick a task and do it, go forward. And starting when? Right after the Capricorn new moon, which is on the 11th, which if Monday is the 8th, 9th, 10th, which is Thursday. So let's say something along the lines of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you have to wait till next week for work stuff, that's okay. You can wait till next week for work stuff. So that's very much part of the positive picture. Also, Mars this week is going to trine Saturn. He's going to sextile Saturn, excuse me, over in Pisces, the ruler of Capricorn, kind of like he's getting his little orders, marching orders there. And then he's going to, later on, he's going to trine Jupiter out in Taurus. This is actually bookending the new moon. Very much suggests that not too far out of the new moon, let's say Friday, that's a little early as Friday, let's say Saturday and Sunday, the weekend, starts to be a time when we really feel that go forward kind of energy really kind of get into a good place. Okay, so yeah, we have to hold on for a little bit. We have to deal with the whole Mercury Neptune thing at the beginning of the week. It's the new moon, so we don't want to do too much as we get to the midweek and even wrap it up. But by Saturday or Sunday, the moon is waxing enough to start putting things going forward. It's a very good time to look at the structures in your life, to organize things, right? If you're just during the new moon, you just look at it, you just observe. It's a meditative time. You don't do anything. And then you start to recognize there's some changes that you could make. Set your intentions and get a little bit of action underway sometime around the weekend. Let the moon wax a little bit before you start taking action, before you even set intentions. Let the moon wax a little bit. But very much time for organization and making decisions about your schedule and what you're going to do. What do you want to accomplish for this year? That's an okay thing to think about at the Capricorn new moon. When we get to this time next year, what would you like to have accomplished? It's not all about accomplishing things. It's not all about accomplishing. It's about living. It's about experience. It's about loving. It's about growing. It's not about doing. But sometimes you got to do some stuff. Sometimes you want to do some stuff. And so this is a good time to be thinking about that. This new moon, by the way, is at 20 degrees Capricorn, very, very close to the degree of the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto and Ceres and Mercury and the Sun and eventually Jupiter back in 2020. And let's look at this optimistically. We could say this is very close to an opportunity to do a little bit of a do-over, a little bit of, let's see if we can redo some of the things that maybe we got started at that period of time. We all know. We all know what happened after that. It was quite a year, 2020. Maybe it's a bit of a redo. We do have the Jupiter-Saturn square coming up later this year. Maybe that's giving us a little bit of an opportunity. So maybe we should be thinking about that a little bit. But mostly, good time to consider where you want to be. Oh, people with these whole things. Where you want to be at this time next year. What do you need to accomplish? What do you want to accomplish in 2024? Here's another thing. Relationship stuff is really hot just out of the new moon, really at the new moon. We have the sun, always about what life is about. Pallas Athene, truth teller. And Juno, the partnership asteroid. Partnership commitment. Partnership, not so much what do you want, what do you value, that's Venus. Let's say more along the lines of what's partnership commitment to you? What's the idea there? Like what form of relationship do we have and how deeply do we go into it? Well, Juno, partnership asteroid, is stationing as she aspects the sun and Pallas Athene. So this is the time for truth telling. This is the time for thinking about where relationships are, where you want them to go. And the fact that that Juno is stationing to retrograde really, really emphasizes in a very strong way that this is a turning point. Not for every relationship, for most of us, I'm sure nothing, but it's a potential turning point. If you've been looking for a turning point, this could be it. If you got something to say in relationship to put it off in a new direction, you want to put it off in a new direction, this would be the time to bring it up. Again, I'm thinking something like Friday or Saturday. So if there's relationship stuff that's sort of stewing around, this weekend is about the time that you want to bring it up and put it out there. All right. It's an awful lot for 1 week, I think. You can't, I'm not just going to redo this for next week.